Okay, we're here at the home of Thomas Grogan, who races under the partnership of Grogan Kearns. They've been the top flyers in Finglas on a number of occasions in the last 7 years. They win the combine averages 4 times. They win the Obert average this year by a landslide amount of points. Thomas, can you tell us a little bit about the family of pigeons?
Yeah, we started, me and my brother Robert started racing in 2008, and we were just looking for a family of pigeons that we thought would suit us. And Jeffrey Bourne actually put me on to a man in England called Dave Hawkins, who had the Vanderbilt pigeons, and we bought a few off him that year, and we really liked them. Went back to him and bought a few more, and we started racing the Vanderbilt pigeons from that year. 2008 was in the Finglas Southwest. We had great enjoyment first year with them. Actually, I really knew that they were going to be good pigeons from the day I received the young birds, as in when I put them into the section. I had a drinker up on a platform, and I just walked away, went back to work, came back that later that day, and every youngster in the shed, I didn't even show them the drinker, was sitting around the drinker, and I actually thought to myself, Jesus,
sign of intelligent pigeons. Yeah.
2008, I think we had a couple of wins in the Finglas Southwest Club. 2009 we had a really good season in that club. We ended up best flyers in that club, and then I took the big step and tried to say we joined, as they say, the big Finglas Club, who in my eyes is probably one of the best clubs in Ireland. Some of the competition in the club is unreal. It's like you have Derek Cummins, who's won 8 overs.
Yeah, there's been some great flyers down there. Actually, as a kid, I started racing in the Finglas Pigeon Club myself with my father, and there's been some great flyers in the Finglas Club over the years, naming, going Jim O'Dowd, Paddy Meehan, Johnny O'Toole, as you said there, Derek Cummins, there's Christy Joyce. There's been really, really great and really hard to win races in the Finglas Pigeon Club. You're talking some weeks there up to probably 800-900 boards in some of the races, and I have to say, you lads in the last couple of seasons have really, I think you've broken the record in the Finglas Pigeon Club for the amount of wins, which is an absolute credit to you, you know what I mean? So it's really, these are really, really good pigeons you have. I think 80% Gabby Vanderbilt pigeons are they, and as I say earlier on there, you win the Obert average this year. People were thinking you were going to win the combine average, you were that far ahead in the Obert. You just haven't raced any young birds, so top, really, really good pigeons, and
the thing about them is they're very consistent pigeons. That's the thing we love about them, because you need a good bit of luck in the Finglas Club. You ain't every week, and in the Fed, they really just be in the hunt, get me clock open, because that's the main objective. If you're enjoying them and you're getting your clock open, to win the races then is you need a little bit of extra luck, and that's really it, especially in a club like Finglas, because you have such top flyers. So they're really consistent birds. They've really always kept us in, really always got a clock open, got great enjoyment out of them, and you
broke the record. Many wins was that you
we had 8 first prizes last year, so that's 8 individual wins in the club, which is, but to tell you, to get them 8, as you know, we've had a 7 before.
Tried for long enough.
And it's really, really hard. The competition is red hot. You think, even the guess, we had the 7 wins. This year was the 8 wins. Last year was the 8 wins. We'd 6 old board and we'd had 2 young board. But even though and then we had young Thomas McLaughlin last year. He was really flying exceptionally well with young pigeons. And I thought when I had the 6 old board, I said, oh Jay, he was flying brilliant, and I said, we have to get 2 more. We ended up getting, out of the last 3 young bird races, we won 2 of them, so we got the 8 first prizes. But to get them 8 wins is it.
There'll be people actually looking at this video and saying 8 wins is not really hard, but the Finglas Pigeon Club, you're talking some weeks, as I said, 800 pigeons, that's as big as a lot of some feds, throughout England, so it's really, and in a very, very small radius as well, so you really have to be at the top of your game to do the winning that you've done, The
calibre of pigeon man in the club, even though, if people don't, if you're doing your homework on the Finglas Pigeon Club, the calibre of pigeon, there's 30 odd members, but on any given Saturday, the majority of them men can win a race or can top a fed. Yeah, they put the work in. So even to get a couple of wins in that club, you have to win.
You have to win. Yeah. You were Fed champion yourself, weren't you? In the South of Fed, going back in
2011, we were Irish South Wales Fed champions.
Yeah.
We won the All Board average that year. We the 4th best young boards in the Fed that year as well. And they were really. And the year where, I probably said this to you before, but where we live in Finglas, there was a couple of good east winds that year, and where you are in the Finglas area, if you get them east winds, you have a great chance of really competing at the top of the Fed. And we did, luckily enough that year, there was 4 or 5 good weeks where we had the east wind, and we flew really well, and we won, we actually won All Board of the Year that year as well. With a lovely hen there, 21, she's actually the founding of the mother of the best of our winners there. She's the majority. The pigeons that are the winning out of them would be down to her and a couple of other good hens there as well, and cocks.
And this is your stock loft here, and as people can see from the video, it's not really a big setup, you know what I mean? You're not, how many pigeons would you keep, Thomas, in your race team?
In the race team now, the race loft is a little bit different. We have 16 pairs of stock here. That's all we keep, yeah? And I would probably rear 2 or 3 rounds of youngsters off them. Race-wise, this year we had 33 cocks and the same amount of hens, so we had about 60 All Boards.
Which is not really a big team of pigeon, and you consider that you had a good go of racing the channel, and I don't care who you are, people that don't know about the channel racing into Ireland, you need a lot of pigeons to compete, and the lads in fairness have competed at the highest level they have, you know. Yeah,
well we knew, the thing is, the last couple of years with the pigeons, we were winning up the land with them, and I was always sending them my best ones to the water as well, to try and get them to compete on the water as well. But I learned a little bit more than the last couple of years that I couldn't really do the same. The pigeons, it wasn't the pigeons that I couldn't get, it was the system I was racing the pigeons on. So I sort of, there was a small little sections in the race loft that I turned into like a naturals park, and I literally had, I think, 8 nest boxes in. I put maybe 8 All Boards in it, 10 All Boards, and I raced them off the channel, and they done us really well. I didn't get the channel win, but we had plenty of positions in it, and the first Talbany All Board race this year, I think we ended up nearly 5th open, I think it was. We took €1,000 out of it anyway. So.
Nice one, nice one. Okay then, Thomas, can maybe you give us a rundown on your system with the old pigeons from the start of the year right through, what you put in the drinker each week, and different what type of feeds you would give the pigeons to get them ready to compete at the highest level, which you have been competing at.
Yeah, well,
just say start on a Monday. What would you? What way would you treat your pigeons? What way would you train?
Well, I'd like to start on the Saturday after. If the Saturday when they come home, I'd probably be better off running through. So the Saturday when they come home on the Saturday, it was always a lice seed. We've always fed a lice seed. The lice seed, like a conditioner. Once that it's easily digestible, that's when they arrive home. And I've always given grit and mineral with the feed when they come home, because I think when you offer it to them after them working really hard, it seems that the minerals and the grit builds them back up that little bit quicker. And the last couple of years I used to be into a very natural type of way with the pigeons, but the last couple of years with a lot of sickness going around and in the truck and people, I've been actually giving them something for bacteria on their first drink when they come home, because what happened was when they were mixing in the truck, as I was told by another good really flyer in the north, because he said to me, you can do everything Monday to Friday with your pigeons. Once they go into the basket on a Friday and they start to mix with other pigeons, So I used that the last couple of years, and it's been a great benefit to us. And that's really, I know some people think it could be a little bit harsh, but it's really just to knock everything on the head straight away.
Okay, Thomas, everybody's wanting to know the name of this stuff you put in there.
Well, you can, there's a number of things. Once it's a good bacterial product,
Which one do you use?
Well, I could be a total disinfectant from Vandersloot. It could be a bacterial stuff you can buy from Herbie Top in Proudstown Prison Supplies. even sometimes, I know sometimes people don't agree with me with it, but it's something I've been doing, and it's Vircones, and that's to a really, yeah, a really low dosage. You're looking at 5 grams to 10 litres, and that's it. That would be the first drink, and then when I go to the club, come back, then you can start on your probiotics, wherever you want to put the drink, or any probiotic. Probac, bit of natural yogurt, that goes back in the drinker then when I come back from the club, and you get it. I actually did, the last couple of years I've been feeding a high protein on the Saturday afternoon. I want the birds to recover really quickly, so I was using this year, I was using the liaise from Natural, and that was the first feed on the feed on the Saturday evening. Sunday again I was giving the protein liaise. People think that was my system. People think that's a bit heavy, but I know my pigeons, and the pigeons were recovering really well in it, yeah. And then that was the Sunday again. The Sunday night, the whole day Sunday, I was giving them the liaise. That's the feed. They'd be fed on a Sunday morning with the liaise protein. Sunday afternoon be liaise and the protein. Very good. And they'd be given a bath on every Sunday. We give them a bath. And the drinker on the Sunday, as I said, Probac, if you want to put the probiotics in, go ahead, Probac. Then we're on to the Monday. The Monday we'll be using then, again, I was using the liaise still with the protein, but I was mixing a bit of breeding maxi in, which was a breeding feed from Natural, but I actually really liked that as a racing mix. So I've been using the breeding maxi as my Widowhood mix. So the Monday was the breeding maxi with the liaise, and in the drinker I've been using this year I gave it a go because Herbie was selling the stuff, was the Broncamp products. On a Monday, I have to look through the Monday book, you would have to, he has a product there, Endosan, Aerosol, iodine, that he sells down there, which is the super.
Are these the products you're using?
Yeah, they're the products I use. On a Monday, it varies. 1 week you can do, I think, the Broncamp book actually explains it, but the first 4 weeks on a Monday and a Tuesday, I'm nearly sure it was the Endosan with a drop of, the iodine in it. That's the Endosan is actually a product. It's a natural product for canker, right. And it's just natural. The Endosan with the iodine, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I would be Wednesday.
Would you still have them on the high protein liaise mix come Wednesday?
Wednesday I start to take the liaise out a bit and have them on breeding maxi and a bag of food called Universal. That's the Wednesday. Thursday then, back onto the there's a lovely, it's like a high energy, high fat food from Natural called Universal. That would be the Thursday. Friday morning I make up a seed mix myself of all different seeds. Chia seed, quinoa seed, as I talked to you before, and they're not really easily digestible for the pigeon, but it's full of good energy, high energy levels, and I give them that Friday morning as early as possible in the field.
And that's the only thing you get on the Friday morning?
Yeah, that's it, lice seed.
It seems straightforward. You sort of do the opposite what all the experts say, break the pigeons down when they come back from sleep. You put them on protein, which is probably the opposite of what people say, you know, so yeah, I'm sure a few people will take that on board, you know.
I just find, like, when you say, like, as this, you know, the sport is changing all the time, pigeons are getting faster in my eyes. Doesn't mean they're getting better, but they're getting faster. But what I was finding that is, like, if you just thought, like, if they're after working really hard on a Saturday for you and you're breaking them down onto a really light feed, I'd be saying, but like, we live in Ireland and the climate and the weather is a little bit different than the continent, so I was thinking I was going to try it, follow my own sword. If it didn't work, it didn't work, but it seems to be working. So when the birds come home tired, as I said, Saturday, first feed, nice little bit of light seed, go to the club, come back, and then it's the protein, getting that muscle repaired.
What's the best trick you've ever done with a pigeon to get him to win a race that you're really happy with when you set up?
I tell you the truth, I've tried tricks before with pigeons and it's gone really...
Yeah, but I'm saying one the walk, tell me one the
walk. I can't really think of any, a trick.
You've done something that you've done with a pigeon and you were very happy that he won on this Saturday. I might have just landing this on you. You know, just.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, well, then we'll
Yeah, I just, like, as I said, I've tried, like, usually, I think sometimes when you leave them, a pigeon, I do watch the pigeons definitely, yeah, and I do see, if I see two cocks fighting or something, there's one thing I will say, you'll hear a lot of people go, you have a really good racing cock and there's another cock who's not doing so well, and they don't like each other, and they're killing each other, and they're on the floor, and then you hear someone go, I'm going to take that other cock out, that he's annoying that fella, but when you
motivating him,
he's motivating him, and because he's there doing a job, and like even the hens, the thing with the hens, I've won a lot of races with hens, and at the start of our career, and the hens, I think really, if you bond with the hens, if you bond with that hen, she seems to give her attention, she give you attention back, and we really walk the tree for us. Our hen section in the race loft is really tight, really narrow. The hens are on top of you, and we treat the hens with that. Like, pigeons have to be treated with a little bit of respect as well, you know. If you treat them fairly and you look after them, they will reward you. You don't, like, a lot of the times, fanciers, I feel like you have to look at yourself. It's not, the pigeons will try as much as you'll try, but you can't always blame the pigeon. You can't. You have to turn around and all that time say, it was probably my fault. There's not many tricks. I just,
good pigeons.
Pigeons. Them pigeons, the pigeons that are here made our life easy, made our life very easy. Like, it's not that we're really good pigeon men. We're lucky to have really good pigeons. That's the first thing. Yeah, and people might think, he's saying that because it's selling them. I'm not. I'm being genuine here. Good pigeons make your life easier.
A good pigeon man.
Good, exactly. A good pigeon man won't win with bad pigeons. Yeah, that's a definite. But a bad pigeon man can do damage with good pigeons. It makes things a lot easier. And them pigeons have made our life very, very easy.
What about if you take in a pigeon? How long would you give him in the stock loft before, if he doesn't produce the goods, that he go out?
A couple of years.
Would you give a couple of years?
Yeah, but you have to be a little bit patient with them. But the thing is, I will say this is, I sort of over the years have learned that if they're really not good as youngsters, as in they're late and they're making really silly mistakes, they're always going to be like that. They never seem to turn around to be a good yearling or a good 2-year-old. But a consistent young bird who you don't really say, he's missing again, or this or she's missing it. But a young bird that's, you go, he's always back, and the hen is, and he's always picking up a cock. And a consistent young bird seems to be always then your better whole bird. But I've never had that. The last couple of years I've really noticed that. Even really, if you get really well bred young bird and he's making mistakes, and he never turns into a good old bird. He either has it, he hasn't. Yeah, he's never. But I've always found that my better old birds were always young birds that were consistent. Always, you look in the shed in the home, you wouldn't have to question yourself, is that pigeon home? To be there. And they've always been my better old birds. But the stock pigeons, I'd always take a record. I'd always notice then in training wise. So if I had a stock pair that I brought in and I was losing them youngsters, I'd start to go, and I wasn't, like, we all lose youngsters, but if your other pigeons are coming home and there's a new couple,
that's the question I'm asking you. How long would you have them before you eliminate them?
Well, I tell you what, up until at the start when I was learning, when we came into them, I'd give them the couple of years, but now, generally, if I was to bring in a stock pair and them youngsters were getting lost off my roof, handy enough for something, and we were going training, and then your old family or your pigeons were coming home and these things were trailing behind, I wouldn't be too quick about it. I'd say, listen, that's no good, they're gone.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, definitely.
What about, just back to the feeding for a second there, we hear of a lot of people using spoons to feed pigeons and things like that. Ounce a day and all. What way would you be? That you give them plenty of food?
Plenty of food. Plenty of food. But if I'm fit, see, I like to train every day with the hens anyway. But the last couple of, plenty of food. If they're getting worked hard, you need plenty of food.
That's it.
The spoon. The thing this year now, the last...
Just use spoon for your tea, is it?
No, but the last couple of years, again, because we were winning a good few races with hens, I wanted to start to learn a little bit more about racing cocks. So the last couple of years, I I didn't take my eye off the hens. I just done my normal system with my hens, but I tried to play a different game with the cocks, and I started to really click the last couple of years. As the cock, the pigeon that topped the fed this year, he was a widowhood cock. So with the
So what was the game that you played with them to
I
get
saw,
them to the race?
I actually, the training, I cut back in the training, yeah. I cut back in the training, and the feed was the same, but I wasn't, because I wasn't training as hard as I was with the hens, I wasn't giving them as much food as the hens. So I was actually just giving them, in the morning time, as I said to you, it was a little bit of the light seed, and then the liaise in the afternoon was the liaise at the start of the week into the breed maxi and the universal. But I would be watching, if I gave them a bit in the galley pot, I was making sure that they were eating it all before I went back. With the hens, like, they were fed, the hens to be fed on the floor in a feeder, and I'd go in and I'd have a bean can, put the food down, they'd eat it all, and I'd give them, after training, I'd give them another little bit if they wanted it, and there was always little bits and pieces. But with the cock pigeons, because they weren't training, I was actually, the furthest I got with my cock pigeons all year was training them once a week, like I told you, and that was 8 mile once a week on a Thursday. They never trained after, that was it, and they flew exceptionally well for us.
What about the hens? How far did you bring the hens?
The hens would go training 35 mile, as much as I could every day.
Twice a day?
Once a day. I can't do twice a day. Once a day, 35 mile.
And would he fly around the house that you let them out then?
In the evening time, and I know the birds. I love to see that as well. That's my big enjoyment with the pigeons. I love racing pigeons, but the evening time, I love to see the pigeons fly. Like, really fly.
How long do they fly for your hens?
With the hens on, when they're really getting fit and in form, I hear fellas saying that pigeons fly for an hour and a half. I'd say when our hens are in form, you get 45 minutes out of them, but good flying, not
proper.
Proper flying. And I don't flag them. I've never flagged my pigeons. I think when they come down, you know, at the start, I probably lock the trap and make sure that they go back up. Then again, something usually frightens them back up, because where the race loft is, there's a lot of gardens with kids in it. But I've never used a flag. But the hens, the way I feed the pigeons as well, because we feed them sort of heavyish, and they worked well, they come into this natural form, and then they just fly the sky. They really, really fly well for us in the evening times, and that's where I get a great kick out of the evening time.
And would you call them in straight away after they finished their 45? You wouldn't hang out?
No. That's a big thing I've learned as well. Like, as you said, everyone knows about the Irish outlaw fed trapping. You don't get away with bad like, you have to get them pigeons. You half a circle in the Irish outlaw fed, and that's the difference between topping the fed and 50th fed. Yeah, and that's it's
very competitive. There's a very small radius in the South Row fed, and some great flyers, you know what I mean? I've seen people come from different countries and they thought they were going to clean up in Ireland. They were experts in their own country, and they were in for a rude awakening when they got the race pigeons in Dublin. Like I said, it's very, very competitive. There's been some great pigeons brought into Dublin thinking they were going to clean up, but there's some really, really good pigeons, and for you to be doing the damage you're doing in the Finglas Pigeon Club, you must have some really, really good pigeons about you. Maybe you'll show us some of these, some of your top pigeons there.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Thomas, we're going to have a look at a few of these pigeons that's breeding all these champions, and some of the pigeons here that's raced some of your winners as well. Is this lad here raced?
No, this is I've actually bred him purposely for stock. This pigeon here, he's the father of the cock that topped the fed for me this year, and the cock that topped the fed, he ended up winning again the last Barley Cove race in the Finglas Club. He was 17th open. This is actually now the next step I was taking in pigeons. He's a Van de Beely Van Hecke, and these are the birds now that I was really looking forward to racing in the next couple of years, because they're really, I really like them. His mother is the 21 hen. She's bred me so many winners.
She'll be the number one stock hen.
Yeah, number one stock hen. And the father of him is a Van Hercock that I bought from Billy Harris. I bought from Billy Harris, and that was as I said, he was bred in 2015. He was the late bred in 2015, and he went straight. He was bred in the stock loft, and I kept him in the stock loft. And I gave Herbie his full brother, but in his first nest he's bred me a double winner who's also, he topped the fed out of Castletown this year for me. our 9,500 birds.
But I can't believe he's only a 2015,
Yeah.
he's only a young
late
dog.
bred in 2015. That's his youngsters only start as old birds last year. This year was the first year the race as old bird. So in his first proper year as a breeding cock in LOFT, he's bred a double winner.
63485. So keep an eye out for this cock. He's an absolute cracking pigeon for
belter, he's my type
pigeon,
of pigeon, yeah.
He's gonna go on for years and breed a lot of winners. He's a super pigeon, he is, yeah. Could we have could we have a look at some of the winners now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Thomas, this is a young son of 85, the last blue cock we looked at. He's a 2016 pigeon, I take it, is he, yeah?
Yeah, this is the yearling cock this year. He actually topped the Fed for us out at Castletown. And then he won again the last Barley Cove outboard race, and he ended up 17th open. This cock is, he has another couple of cards as well. I just don't know off my head, but I wouldn't be one for putting young pigeons to stock, but he would have definitely went to stock next year for me, even though he's only a yearling cock, because he has everything I've wanted now to take that next step with the pigeons like his father. I usually put pigeons ex-racers, even if they win, they wouldn't see the stock loft till about 3 years old. But he has this young cock has everything for me. Also, with being a double winner, he's a very, very intelligent pigeon.
He's a very nice eyed pigeon, Eddie. I don't know whether you can zoom in there and have a look at his eye. A winner of 2 first prizes in the Finglas Club.
First fed, full section this year, 9,500 Castletown.
Super going, yeah.
He was 17th open, Barley Cove in the last race. I'm not sure about the section, but he'd be well up in it. He actually, the way he came out of the open race, I actually have, he would have probably been better, but I had a bit of an issue with the pigeons this year, as in, when I topped the Fed and was first and second Castletown, with the cocks I was only racing that first half, they all come home with oil on their head and on their wattle. And I tried, before the result was done that day, I sent photos to the president of the Fed, and he got back to me saying he'd find out what it was. And he actually did find out what it was, and it was WD-40 had got into me cocks in the basket. And I have pictures there, like as I was telling Jerry, and the pigeons up until that week, like as I was first, I had 6 top 50 Fed cards that week. I was first and second Fed, 9,500. The cocks are really coming well. I was delighted with them, and they all arrived home with the wattle and the top of the head covered in oil from the castle.
Still, he's wattle there. You can
they never recovered from it. And the president of my federation got back to me, and he said what he could thought was WD-40. Yeah. Now, when I went to look at the WD-40 bottle, I was absolutely heartbroken over it, because the cocks, I noticed after a day or two, they really went down on themselves, and it took me weeks and weeks to get them around. And only for I had me hens to come in the second half, my season probably would have been over. That's the truth.
But he still come back and win the last race.
It took me actually, I'd say the best part, the 4 or 5 weeks to clean it out of him, because when I read up about WD-40, it had been sprayed on the release bars and it had dripped into the basket, and it must have been in the drinker, because the wattle was covered and the head was covered, and it took 4 or 5 weeks for them to really come back around. And when I read up about the WD-40, it really said if it was consumed, you'd have to go by a person. You had to go to a doctor. And the couple of days after they came back from the race, I seen a huge decline in their health, and it was actually the feathering really dry and all, and it was because they were trying to get it out of him.
It just shows you how good he was to come back and win. 310 is his number. He's going through a beautiful moult at the moment, which is always a great sign in a pigeon as well. Yeah, he's a real good pigeon. Maybe we get a look at another. This is a cracking cock. This fella, Thomas. What way is he bred?
He's a 2011 pigeon. His ring number is 050721. He's a direct son of 21. My best racing and stock hen. He's a double winner in the Finglas Club. He's a 3rd Fed and a 7th Fed. He was put to stock as a 3-year-old, and he's also bred me 1st Club, 4 section, 2nd Fed Skibbereen last year, and he's bred me so many pigeons, it's unreal. I can't really off the top of my head. He's actually he would be an uncle of the pigeon that topped the Fed, so it would be his half brother who's the father of the cock that took fed. His actual nest mate as well was a dark check hen, and she was Force Club second fed. When Martin McKenna from Cabra was beating me, he was Force Club first fed. So yeah, he's a double winner. That's 21.
He's a fantastic pigeon.
He was a brilliant pigeon, brilliant racing.
He's a double winner himself.
Double winner himself, yeah.
And a lot of other prizes.
Loads, yeah. It just he was third and seventh fed. But he's bred me so
What type of board is in the fed roughly?
I think I'd have to look back, but at least 7,000-8,000 each time, because I know he was third. I was third and fourth fed out of a Pilmar Beach race. It was the start of the year in 2011. So it would have been high enough boardage, and then he was actually seventh fed. There's a bit of a story to him. In 2000, was it 2000? I have to really do this right now. 2013, I'm nearly sure. We started the season tourless. We got in the results a couple, but the week later was Pilmar Beach. Darren Church took the first three in the fed, and I was fourth fed with a little blue hen that's here. Then the week later was my daughter's communion, and I usually call the birds in and my brothers. And this cock came, and I rang the brother. He said he lost a bit of time, and the neighbour of mine who was racing the pigeons at the time, he'd never tell you if you had a bad trapper on, but he said he seen the blue clock belling around, and we lost a bit of time. He still won the club of 7th Feb, but he was there to win the fed.
Other fed cards as well as that.
Loads of other fed cards as well. Yeah,
so he's a superstar. Like.
Yeah, he actually.
And he's direct off your number one.
Direct off the number one, and so in his net with his sister in 21's nest, that was her second nest only as a racing hen. 21. So in that nest, as the two blue cock double winner, third and seventh fed, and his nest mate was a dark check hen. She won, and she was second fed.
And he's a Gabby Van der Beek.
Gabby Van der Beek. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we get a look at a couple more. Okay, Thomas again, another cracking blue cock. I like these in the pod. They're really a nice family of pigeons. What is this fella?
This is 77. He's the first youngster I ever bred out of 21. He was bred 21 as a yearling. She was a racing hen. I bred 77 and 78 in our first nest. This cock has maybe 3 or 4 seconds in the club and a lot more positions. He never actually won, but he came out a good few times with the winner. He did win a section, but so in the Skibbereen Irish National Flying Club, he was first section, 7th national, and he bet everything into Southern Ireland that day by 50 yards a minute in a southeast wind. He's a great racer, and he's bred me winners as well.
He's a cracking pigeon.
He's an ex-racer again.
Cracking pigeon. And direct off the 21 hen again. Jesus, she's some hen.
Yeah, she is. And his sister won as well. His nestmate won as well. She's a winner as well. So in 21's first 4 youngsters that I bred, they all won.
And what was the racing record of 21 herself? Did she?
Oh, stop, yeah. I'd have to go through and find out, yeah. But she won All Board of the Year in the Fed 2011. In the Fed? She was the best All Board in the Fed 2011. Yeah, the champion All Board. And she's gone on to breed me. And our children are breeding, and our grandchildren are breeding, and 90% of that shed that I have there are either children of her, or brothers and sisters of her. And there's an odd little touch of this and there here, but them pigeons, I could never get them again. They're brilliant.
I could imagine, yeah, maybe just put her. Okay, Thomas, another fantastic blue cock. What way is this lad bred?
He's a full brother of 21, Jerry. He's in the stock draft now the last couple of years, and he's bred me really good pigeons. Yeah, he's a full brother of the 21 hen, and that's why he was put to stock. He's a little bit smaller than a few of the other cocks, but he breeds me he's bred me really good pigeons. And as I said, I have to go. I only really know me winners and all, but if I go through the books for the auction, there will be winners and other place pigeons off him now.
He's fantastic eyed pigeon again. Maybe Eddie, if we could just zoom in on this cock's eye again. Fantastic, and again he's a full brother of 21. The number 1 stock hen, yeah. Fantastic, and he's bred a host of good pigeons as well, yeah.
Good reliable pigeons.
Okay, Thomas, what's this one? He's a bit of colour in this fella, all the rest of them all blues.
He's a Van der Beek. He's a half brother of 21, the same father, but his mother is a pigeon by a sister of Lord and Lady of the Rings of Dave and John Hawkins in England. This fella, he was a really good racer. He's a good few cards, but I had a bit of a problem with his dad. He got escaped out of the stock loft. So when I seen him with that happening, I put him straight to stock, and he's bred me winners and other really good prize cards, pigeons as well.
He's a cracking cock as well, 6 or 961, a cracking cock as well, yeah. And he's bred the goods as well.
Yeah, he's bred me.
So
Yeah,
it's a good move putting him in the stock.
Yeah.
You're obviously a good stock man there. When something happened to the father, you
Yeah,
didn't want the lion to go, so
yeah,
you
yeah,
stopped
that's
these, which is a hard thing to do, to take pigeons out of the.
Well, I always read, like a lot of people, like I always like to see a good racer, give him a chance in the stock loft. If he's still there after he's a 3-year-old and he's done all the racing, he mightn't have won, but he has a good few cards for you and he has the right blood. I'll put him straight to stock and give him a chance in the stock loft. Pigeons like that are very hard to buy.
And he's a nice cock as well. The handling of these pigeons is super as well. He's really a nice pigeon, and
they're very similar type, as you know, Jay.
I
like a nice.
You handle one, you handle them all.
Yeah, I like a nice balanced pigeon. I like a medium-sized cock pigeon, and I like to have a nice bit of balance. They have to have that balance for me.
Okay, we'll have a look at a couple more.
There's a cock here with 3 wings, eh?
Okay, this is a cracking pencil cock hair pigeon in your hand there. What's this, lad?
This was bred by Jeff and John Boone for me as a youngster. It was a present. He gave me another 3 presents. There was black pigeons they had. I started racing them, and this cock, he has 3 first prizes into the Finglas Pigeon Club, and he also he was 4th best award in the Fed 2014. He has a 4th Open, a 7th Fed, a 5th Fed, and he actually was going to go. He would have been in my stock loft this year to breed. Only for I didn't breed any youngsters. I took a couple of youngsters off him racing in 2015, and last year one of his sons ended up. He was actually, when I was 1st and 2nd Fed, his son was 2nd Fed for me, and his daughter this year as a yearling hen. Has a 2nd and 3rd as well. I've only ever bred 4 youngsters off him, as in the race loft, and he would have gone straight to stock this year, and I never got a chance to breed from him.
Well, it's great to handle a pigeon like this, especially by myself, because I raced from a kid in the Finglas Club, and down through the Finglas Pigeon Club you could count the amount of pigeons that's 1 3/4 in it. That's what you were saying earlier on. It's so competitive in the Finglas Club. It's much stronger than a lot of feds where pigeons top feds. This pigeon here, between 3 individual fourths in the Finglas Pigeon Club, that's some achievement for the pigeon, and he's a cracking pigeon, you know what I mean? He's a really nice lad. He's bred the goods, so what more would you want?
Yeah, brilliant. He has, and he's a very intelligent pigeon. He's won me a good few in the lot that I've been involved in a good few 5 boarders, and he's won me a lot of money in the 5 boarders because you can depend on him. He'd always be in the first 4 or 5 pigeons home in any race. He's really a good pigeon, and that's the thing, I would have really looked forward to breed from him. Really would have looked forward to breed with him. He's a real nice pigeon. He's actually, he's actually an uncle. His mother his sister is the mother of the cock that topped the Fed.
Super, yeah. He's a real nice pigeon. Triple winner in the Finglas Pigeon Club.
He won 3 races, yes.
Okay, Thomas, again another fantastic blue cock pigeon that are coming out. What line of pigeons is this fella?
I bought this cock from Billy Harris. He's a Van Hecke pigeon. What I was looking the last couple of years was because I had the Vanderbiljs that long, then that I was looking for a nice pigeon to cross into them to make them just that. Like, as you know, you have
any family of pigeons, you introduce something new.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the Van Hecke pigeons, as I knew when they were just really good pigeons for Billy and then for Philip Bowl in the north. And I saw, and Billy was one of the top flyers in the early Sarah Fed, why not go and ask the man? So I asked, could I buy a cock? And this is the cock that I purchased, and it was a great purchase.
Is he bred winners?
Yeah, he's bred winners for me. His daughter won this year for me, but he's also his son. He was paired to 21 there in 2015, and his son is the cock that bred me the Fed topper. And there's a nice little bit of a cross there I found with the Vanderbiljs Van Hecke type of cross. And with the pencil fella we've just seen there before, he's the mixture, that's the 3 mixtures there that I got of the cock that topped the fed, who's the double winner. And that's where the next line of pigeons was coming in me shed, was them pigeons now.
I think you knew what you were doing going out and getting a cock like this. He's absolutely fantastic, he is. And he complements them pigeons you have. He goes into them nicely, you know, so straight away. He's grandsire of a South Road Federation winner in 2017 this year. Yeah, super, yeah.
And that he's a grandsire and he's a sire of a winner in the club this year, a blue hen. She won as an all board as well this year for me.
And as we say, the Finglas Pigeon Club, it's not too easy to win races in
the
Finglas Pigeon Club. Yeah.
I really like him, yeah.
Another fantastic blue. I would imagine this is definitely one of the Gabby pigeons. He really looks the part and he's like the other pigeons there. What has this fella done racing?
He never actually won, but he has a right good few club cards. And as he wouldn't have been in the stock loft, he wouldn't be in the stock loft if he wasn't a good pigeon anyway. But it was probably one of the best decisions I ever done, putting him into stock, because he's bred me some exceptional pigeons, and he's in there now. He's in there since 2013. It's now 2017, so he wouldn't still be there if he wasn't breeding me.
Many cards, you said he wouldn't. Many cards, would you say?
He has it. I know he has it.
Taking into consideration, we're talking about up to 600-800 pigeons. Some of the
I'd say he's easily about 10 club cards. He's definitely got 10 club cards. If I was to go through them, I'd find
he's probably beaten my club mates.
That was the problem, Jay. Yeah, there was a couple of, that's the really hard thing about it. The 2010, they were born then. 2011 we were fed champions, and the pigeons, they were coming like to be fed champion, and you need so I was taking, they were getting beaten by loft mates, and that was the problem.
And when you put him into the stock loft, he's an instant success, was he?
Yeah, he's bred me really good pigeons, really. And as you said, as I told you, it's 2017 there now. He's 4 years in that stock loft. He wouldn't be still in that stock loft if he wasn't breeding me pigeons.
He's super cocking again like the rest, and his last 3 numbers is 682. A really nice cock he is, yeah. Just shows you what racers, real good racers, usually always go on and breed.
But going back to the club again, like if you're competing and you're picking up club cards in a good strong club like Finglas, they're good pigeons. This club, as I said, like people in the Irish South are fed now. If other people,
well, they've been fed champions. Finglas Club has been champions, fed champions many times. The club, you know, with the most points for all the clubs, the 32 clubs that's in the federation.
Like the board is sometimes in the club, and the competition is second to none.
And it's small radius as well.
Really tight radius.
You need really good fast pigeons, yeah. Okay, here we are with another nice blue cock pigeon again, and what's this lad?
This is a direct son of the hen that topped the fed for me, of 11,500 from Mallow. I think it was 2012. He was bred perfectly straight into the stock loft. He was bred in 2015, and because I just like the look of him. I like the shape of him. He's a little bit bigger than the others, but I just knew that I liked him, and I put him to stock, and he's bred me some really nice pigeons as well. He's only in there now. Last year was his first year breeding. He's 2015. Last year I didn't breed from him this year, but his youngsters done all right, and as all boys they've done well for me as well.
That's super.
But he's another young cock that was another couple of years there breeding with him.
And again, only a young cock that you bred yourself, and he's paid you back straight away. This fella is 489. Really nice cock, and you made a good decision to put this fella in the stock lot. His mother topped the South Road fed with 11,500 pigeons.
Yeah.
That's some family of pigeons. No wonder you're doing what you're doing in the Finglas Pigeon Club. This is a cracking hen. I really like this from the moment I seen this hen. She's a really nice hen. What's this hen and what's she done?
This hen topped the fed from Mallow for me out of 11,500 in 2012. She's actually the mother of the last blue cock we were looking at there. She also has a 5th fed as well, and she's a couple of other good fed cards. And I put her to stock then in 2013 she went to stock, and she's bred me winners as well.
She's bred you winners as well. She's a really class hen. She's absolutely beautiful. She's going through a bit of a molt at the moment there. You can see she's gone through a nice molt.
Again, an X-race.
Yeah. 617 is this hen's number. She's topped the South Road 11,500.
11,500, yeah.
And she's bred your winners.
She's bred me winners, yeah. Really good winners.
And that's a son of her that you just put into the stock lot that's out of breeding. So our children are breeding the goods as well as ourselves. Yeah, she's a cracking hen. She fits into your hand like a glove. She's really, really nice hen. And is she a Gabby pigeon as well?
Yeah, she's Gabby Van der Beely pigeon, yeah.
Yeah, she's really, really nice, yeah. I'd say that hen there is a really, really class hen, alright. You get that one, Eddie? Yeah, she's really, really nice, yeah.
She's a pretty looking thing as well. She's a good looking hen.
Okay, here we go. Another cracking hen as well. It's a real class hen as well. Is this hen won herself?
Yeah, this hen Jay won as well. She was first club third fed for me, and she's a lot of other club cards. As I told you, I don't really go. You know, I really just remember me winners because there's so many second, thirds, and fourths there. But she was first club third fed, and she's also the mother of a first club fourth fed, and she's a grandmother of a first club second fed.
Has she got other fed cards as well?
Yeah, she's got plenty of fed cards, this little hen.
And she's bred the goods as well.
Yeah, she's a really, really nice pigeon.
And she's a Gabby pigeon as well.
Gabby Van der Beely, yeah. Different line than the 21 hen.
Yeah,
this is the other side of the family sort of I have, yeah.
So these are the two families of Gabbies that you blend together.
Yeah, the two main hens that I have there would be 21 and 45, which she is there now is 45.
45, yeah, she's a cracking hen. She's a nice hen. She's a little bit smaller than the other hens, but she's...
That's the different type.
Yeah, and they probably complement them.
Yeah, there's a bit of a third bar going through her there as well, which I really like to see, you know. A bit of strength in here.
And she was first club third fed, and a list of other prizes as well.
Yeah, I actually think she would be first club. She was a section winner as well, and her daughter was fourth fed, and her grandson last year was first club, first section, second federation from Skibbereen.
Unbelievable, lovely family of pigeons. Okay, Thomas, again a cracking thing. What's this pigeon here?
This is 55. She has another. This is another winner. She was first club fourth fed. Her mother was first club third fed, and she has also bred me a pigeon that was first club first section second federation Skibbereen last year, and she bred me a winner this year as well. With a son of 21. Actually, I reckon they could be one of the best stock pairs I have. 4 and 21, son 21.
So this one is a direct daughter of 45, is it? Direct
daughter of 45, she is.
So 45 is a winner of first club
third fed, and she's first club fourth fed.
And what type of board are we talking about again?
It's the Irish Salvo fed, so it's an old board racing, it's land racing. You're looking at 8 to 10,000. You know that yourself.
She's a lovely hen as well, yeah, and her daughter won as well, yeah.
Our son won last year first club second fed, first club first section second federation Skibbereen, 7,500. Jimmy Bracken actually topped the fed in tally. 7 minutes. I thought it was just a little bit. It was blink of an eye. That bad trap, that couple of seconds cost me, like, you know. So
in the fed,
yeah.
But more importantly, hens like this, when they go into the stock lot that they breed, are like. So she's only a young hen herself.
Yeah. And, as I said, like that's 2000 and was she 2010?
Yeah,
11.
55 is a number, yeah.
Yeah, so she would have only went in 12, 13, 14. Do you know what I mean? So she's only in the stock lot the last couple of years. Because I don't really put out the stock till they're 3 year old. And they're still there with good prices. They'll go to stock as racers. Because again, I've been all around and you've tried and buy these pigeons. This is why it's really hard for me to let go of these, because they're really good pigeons. Breeding me good pigeons.
Yeah. Okay, Thomas, I believe this is another ex-racer as well. Is it this hen? Has she won herself?
Yeah, she's won, Jerry. This is my brother Robert's favourite pigeon. 08, as you can see, she's an I actually think she's a quality. That's my really type of hen there. She's lovely feather and lovely balance, really bright and alert. She's won. She's a load of other cards, and she has bred me winners as well. And again, she's an ex-racer that got a chance in the stock lot. Like most of my pigeons are ex-racers.
Most of the pigeons that you end up in the stock lots are thing,
are all ex-racers.
Well, why would you want to be buying pigeons when you have this calibre of pigeon around you? And it's the right thing to do. So it's winners, breeding winners.
Well, if you want to build a family of pigeons, you have to. That's where you get your pigeons from. Winners breed winners, as you said.
That's what keeps you at the top. You know, a lot of people race pigeons, they win, they lose the pigeons, and then they're gone. They're scratching their head looking for new pigeons. But you've been cute enough, and you've been stopping them, and this is why you've got this family of pigeons for the last 7 years. Or so.
But it's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, because you know it's very hard. Like you said, when you're competing, to put pigeons into the stock loft that are doing the job for you. But in the long run, when you do that, you get the benefits of it. You get the birds that are breeding winners. And even Like, I wouldn't actually ever just put a pigeon that won one race to stock. That doesn't happen here. The pigeon has to, if it wins, but it has to have other performances to find its way into their stock lot. And even some of the pigeons, as you said, they mightn't have won, but they've a good few club cards and fed cards. And that to me is very important, because I know they're consistent. And when I've paired, as over the years we've done it, we've paired consistent pigeon to consistent pigeon, and we've got better consistent pigeons. And them consistent pigeons then have bred us the winners.
So this is known as Robert's hen.
Yeah, she's
Robert's
lovely.
Hen,
He loves her. Yeah.
She's bred a lot of winners.
Yeah, she's a real, again, with these pigeons I find they're really intelligent pigeons, really smart pigeons, and they make your job easy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what you want,
there's not much, you don't have to go, like, we don't have any fancy stuff, we don't have blinds, we don't have heaters, we race into a basic lot, we're two walking fellas, we don't have much time, so these birds will win. These birds will win for 99%, like anyone that knows a bit about pigeons will do well with these birds.
The blue splashed hen, another very nice hen. What hen is this?
This is a half sister to 21, same father. She's actually a full brother of the big blue poet cock there we were talking about earlier. She never raced for me because what I just, when I seen her in the nest and what I was looking for balance wise and feathering, I just really liked her, and I said, listen, I'll have a go in the stock loft, and it's proven right because she's bred me some really good pigeons. She's bred me winners, and I'm delighted I put her again. I know what I'm looking for when I breed pigeons in with my family of pigeons, and she just had everything for me.
It's a cracking hen. How many firsts have you won in the Finglas Club in the last?
We have 40 first prizes in the Finglas Club since 2010.
That's some going, yeah. Because as I say, the Finglas Club, a very strong club. You know?
And it's 40 individual first prizes. There's no duplicates on them. That's 40 first prizes.
It's a class hen. I'd love to handle these pigeons when they're just at a finish in their moult. You can tell the class of the pigeons now, but they say the worst time to handle pigeons is actually when they're starting to go through a moult, and this hen is going like the rest of them starting to go through a moult, but you can feel the quality and class of these pigeons. You're a very lucky man. I know now, this is the first time I actually got to handle your pigeons, but I know now why you were doing so well at the Finglas Club. Okay, here we go. A rare checker, Thomas, of all the pigeons you've done. Checker hen, so she's a real nice hen. What's this hen about?
This hen is another Van de Beely pigeon, another ex-racer, Jerry, but this pigeon should have had a lot more. She should have had a good few wins, never mind cards. She's not a great trapper. She actually came to top the fed for me one day, and I lost a good few minutes, and I ended up, she was my second pigeon in, actually only for 21, turned up on the race, 21 trapped. I think she ended up 7 fed, but this hen was there, best part of 2 or 3 minutes flying around. I don't know what happened or really why she's a bad trapper, because my pigeons are not really bad traps. She must have just got a fright as a young bird.
It must have been a hard race, because 2 or 3 minutes in Finglas you normally wouldn't even get a position. You're talking about up in the fed, so it must have been really a hard race, you know, for her to lose that time.
She's a really good pigeon, yeah, and she's actually been more frustrating when she was a racing hen than anything, but we kept her. We gave her the benefit of the doubt. I didn't just go and throw her away. We kept racing her. She scored a good few. She's plenty of club cards, plenty of fed cards, but she's breeding me really good pigeons in the stock lot. She's bred me winners as well, this hen. So I was glad then in the end that I stuck with her, even though she was a bad trapper.
She sits into your hand beautiful as well, and she's a cracking little hen as well, yeah. A really nice pigeons, yeah. And she's a Gabby Van der Beely.
Yeah, Gabby Van der Beely pigeon as well from D&J Hawkins, yeah.
That's grand, yeah. And these are winning all the sprint races. The Gabby pigeons will be known for
that's what
flying a bit of distance.
Yeah, like I got told that as well, like that sprint. But with the way we've moulded the pigeons the last few years since we got in, you know, them pigeons are winning sprint races for me, yeah. And when on a hard day, they'll win on a hard day as well. It's the family of pigeons that we had. Like, they're not all good when we got them at the start, but we've whittled them down over the few years to what we have the last couple of years, that win sprint racing, that win hard days, that win, you know, and again, they'll win, but they'll always compete, always. So, yeah, they're a good all-round pigeon.
So Unlucky is her name, I would imagine. Unlucky. Okay, Thomas, this is another checker, one of the rare checker cocks. He's a nice cocky, I believe he's an ex-racer as well. He's a lot of prizes racing, has he?
Yeah, he's another ex-racer, Jed, that we put to stock. He has a good few club cards and plenty of fed cards, but he's also bred me some really good pigeons. His daughter won again this year for me. She also won, she had won last year as well, I'm nearly sure. She won me plenty of money last year, I know that, because in the five border. But what I will say about this fella is, his son then this year was 7th up in Talbany as well, and won me €850. So his daughter won up the land and his son won off the water.
There you go, you can't get better than that. And I believe this year, Thomas, you didn't breed any young pigeons at all, so there's no young pigeons at all bred. No. What was the reason?
Yeah, what happened was, it was really when it was getting really difficult for me and Rob just to have the pigeons, and I made a decision then. I spoke to Robert about, and when we decided then, this was our last year, like, I could have bred youngsters, but I spoke to you about that before. I wanted to be a racing loft, and it was just too much time, so I just didn't breed any youngsters at all and just left them there and concentrated on the racing, because I wanted to enjoy me last season racing, because as you know, breeding racing is a lot of hard work, so I just wanted to get stuck in and enjoy the racing, and that's all.
Which you did by winning the Oakwood Average by a big margin. You did the second fella, and you probably done yourself, I would imagine, now being winning the combine averages in the club. You wouldn't
well, as I said, the club is so competitive, we don't know, but I would, as I was talking to you earlier, the youngsters, I would have really looked forward to seeing what youngsters I was breeding this year. With the old pigeons, the way they be formed, I had more of the pigeon I wanted, that type of pigeon in the stock loft, and I would have guaranteed the youngsters I bred this year would have been another step again, because what I had in the stock loft and what I had seen in the old pigeons, and I actually had a couple of really nice pigeons to go to stock this year that I just never got to try to breed from, as the pencil cock with the 3 wings. Never got to breed him in the stock loft.
It's unbelievable. Family of pigeons like this, and not one young one getting reared from them. Unbelievable.
Not one youngster got reared from these pigeons at all this year. Not like, so they've had a year there, just no youngsters been bred from, so they're fresh as well, like,
ready
you know.
To go, yeah.
Yeah,
okay, Thomas, the last pigeon we're going to show anybody is the star of the loft. She was the #1 racing hen, and she went on and she was the #1 stock hen. This is the famous 21 who your whole family of pigeons is based around.
Yeah, she's actually, this is the reason why probably we have won what we've won. This pigeon is just, she's exceptional. She's actually just, she means more than a pigeon to us. She's like a blade part of the family. She she flew the Youngboard National, Irish National Flying Club, she scored. She flew the Yale National, she's won in the club. She was actually the best outboard in the Irish South Feathers racing pigeons. She's just a machine. She'd never let you down, she's flown everywhere. But in the breeding loft, she's been just second to none. In her first, actually as a racing hen, her first 2 youngsters bred off her as a racing hen, both winners, was first club, they both won. The blue cock inside there from the national, that was 7 national, he bet everything into Southern Ireland by 50 yards, is her son. In her second nest then, the year she won the outboard title as the best outboard, I reared 2 youngsters off of that year, and both of them won as well, and the hen had a first club second fed, and the cock had 2 wins, 21 is his ring number, a 3rd fed, 7 fed. She's also the grandmother of the cock that topped the fed, and she's bred me nothing but winners. Her daughters are breeding me winners, her sons are breeding me winners. She's just unbelievable.
Straight away class, and I always say good pigeons have a bit of class about them, and this hen here, maybe you can zoom in on her eye, it'd be definitely worth it. Can you take up her eye there? Yeah. She's a real class hen. So everything she's bred is turned into gold. Yeah.
She's unreal, yeah.
And she was the champion Allwood in the South Row Fair.
2000,
beating all the Widhood cocks.
Beating all the cocks. She's just brilliant. She has some brain. She's a very intelligent pigeon. Very intelligent, and she's done everything she breeds for us. Our grandchildren and our children have thrown winners and good pigeons, and as I said, she's grandmother already then to the cock that topped the fed this year for me. Our sons have second feds, 3rd feds. It's unbelievable what she's done for me.
Oh, she's just a class, and she reminds me of my old Sushan hen, the same way she handled as well. It's super breeding, and that's why I always say class pigeons. And we have a bit of a shock announcement to make. I believe all these pigeons that we're handling, including the 21 and all the other pigeons, you're having an entire clearance sale. And every pigeon we've seen here today, plus all the other winners in your loft, every one of them will be for sale. Are you going to keep hunting back on?
No, I can't. Everything's gone.
What does it feel like to be
stop. You'll have me crying nearly. This is just, it's just, at the minute with my brother and myself, just where we race, as I was telling you, it's just, we've outgrown it a bit. My brother has 4 young children now from the age of 12 down to 2, and he's working full time again as a foreman, as the electrician, and I have a young family, and we've outgrown where the loft is. There's no side entrance, as you've been in the house before, and it's just impossible nearly. It's breaking our heart to get part one, but it has to be done because we have to find somewhere else. The clearing sale will happen, entire clearing sale, and hopefully then we find somewhere suitable for the 2 of us to race again in the next 5 years or whenever. But we need to let them go. It's just got to do with the family. And it's heartbreaking.
You do realise it's going to be very, very hard to get your hands on a family of pigeons again like these.
But if there was any other way of not parting with them, people know me and Robert, and know we just love racing. They know us in general from being around. They know we're very basic with our pigeons. We don't have an awful lot of facilities at our hand. We just have good pigeons, and we love racing pigeons. And this, we know what we have to let go here. It's very hard. It's very hard. This is a like the last. Me and my brother are racing pigeons, involved in pigeons since we were kids. It's 22 years I'm around pigeons, and these pigeons what we have at the minute, we will never get again, never. But there's no other way around it, no other way. It's actually, we have to take 1 step back for 2 steps forwards. So when our children are growing up and we have that time again, that we can get back to the birds. But I don't think I'll ever own birds like that again.
No, I think you're going to find it. All I can say is I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure there'll be a big interest around for these pigeons, because it's not very often that you get a chance to buy pigeons of this calibre. You get a chance probably to buy young birds off them, but to actually buy all the winners themselves, the hen 21 herself, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I don't care where you go, there's not too many of these hens anywhere. Whether you go to England, Belgium, Scotland, Wales, Holland, I don't care where you go, pigeons of this calibre don't come up.
Well, yeah, I always watched it. I always keep my ear to the ground with pigeons, and I always, I'm always looking out and looking for new things with the birds and new birds, and hand in heart, and like I wouldn't swap them pigeons there for no pigeons in anywhere in the world, because them birds there, I know, are these you can compete and win by not actually breaking you don't have to kill yourself. They're good pigeons, they're easily conditioned, they make my life a lot easier, and they always seem that they have a really good intelligent pigeon about them. They're really smart. There's no acting, there's no even training wise. If you're tight for time, them birds don't really make many mistakes. You can actually say, when you're training, them birds be all home within a few minutes and you're finished, back to work or whatever else you have to do. There's not, the birds are just the best birds I've ever owned. Like,
okay, I'll put this to you, Thomas. If you had to take 2 pigeons out of the whole loft, race team, stock team, what 2 pigeons would you take?
She be first, no doubt about it.
And what cock would you go for?
The cock, like, it's very hard to not go with the Van Hecke fella, but as I said, our son there, the father of I know it's a son, but the son that bred me the fed topper this year, like, he's really special. And then you have the pencil cock, it's a very hard question. Yeah, I like listening there. If people just, if they really have a good look at these pigeons, I can guarantee, like, these birds will not be getting sold only for that. We just have to take a break for a while. And there's no guarantee I'll ever get back to it. I could be coming back to you in 5 years' time going, this was the biggest mistake I ever made.
I think you will be.
Yeah,
especially if you come back racing pigeons.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be a good bit of interest in these pigeons. Do you mind people ringing you, asking you for advice about any pigeons when we put out the sales list and things
that's
like
fine,
that? People can ring you
anytime, yeah. Like, as I said, like, we're a racing lot first and foremost. So I know these pigeons inside out, and my brother knows them inside out. There's the pigeons that are here, they're all, as you can see, ex-racers. Yeah? They're giving us huge enjoyment, huge. From the day we've raced them, you know, when people, you know, it's not all about winning and all, but they've given us some enjoyment, some great days in the backyard on a Saturday, some really special days, and it'd be the day they go, like even doing the interview today, it's been very hard because they're just really special pigeons, and they mean a lot to me and my brother.
Oh yeah, I can tell the way you're talking, you're nearly crying
Yeah,
there.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, talking about, well, all I can say is I wish you the best
Thanks,
of luck
Jack,
in the
thanks,
future,
Jack.
and I hope you do come back to racing
Thank you.
someday.